Presenting Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways.
CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX-4. Wind southeast, ceiling 1200. All clear.
Okay, this is Hop Harrigan coming in.
Yes, it's America's ace of the airways, coming in for another transcribed episode in the adventures of Hop Harrigan. Before we join Hop and Tank in their newest mystery adventure, I'd like to take a minute or so to answer a question a lot of you have asked in your letters to Hop. The question is aviation a good career to follow? Well, the answer, of course, is yes. Aviation has a tremendous future throughout the world, and the men and women who stick with it are going to be well off. Of course, all of them aren't going to be pilots. Some will run flying schools, others will become mechanics. As for the girls, there's a career in aviation for them, too. Remember, aviation isn't only a man's field. Why, the majority of administrative and clerical positions are held by women. Girls have an opportunity to become flight control assistants, stewardesses, and passenger agents. Flying is fun, sure, but it's a big business, too. Take a fellow like Gene May, the famous test pilot. Gene isn't as young as the average test pilot. In fact, he's a lot older. At 42 years of age, he's going to fly the plane which the Douglas Aircraft Company believes will be the first ship to cross the sonic barrier. He's the man who's going to flight test the new Douglas D-558 Skystreak. The Skystreak, as you may know, is a Douglas-built Navy transonic research airplane, a ship Gene May hopes to fly at a speed faster than the speed of sound. Gene learned to fly 20 years ago in an old World War I Jenny, and now he's about to test the fastest airplane in the world. I'll tell you more about this new Douglas ship at the end of the program, so be sure to listen. And now to our story. It is early evening in Lakeville. At the airport, the sun has just dipped beneath the rim of the horizon, and the field is bathed in blue twilight shadows. All is quiet as daylight melts into darkness. In the living room of the house across the road from the field, Hop is seated at a desk, going over some accounts. Tank, with 3 generous portions of roast beef under his bulging belt, is fast asleep on the couch, dreaming undoubtedly of a 4th portion. Aunt Agatha's in the kitchen, washing the supper dishes. Suddenly the phone rings, and almost as suddenly, Tank awakens and sits bolt upright.
Okay, I'm coming. All I gotta do is wash my hands.
Hop turns from the desk and looks at Tank in puzzled amusement.
What did you say?
I gotta wash my hands.
What for?
Dinner bell. Can't you hear it ringing?
How do you like that? Just 15 minutes ago, you practically put away half a cow, and now you're hearing dinner bells. It's the telephone. Answer it.
Oh, must have been dreaming.
Go on, answer it, Tank.
Never mind, I've got it.
There. See what you've done? Dragged Aunt Agatha in from the kitchen.
I beg
Oh,
your
I got
pardon.
woke up too fast.
Who is this?
You got what?
Woke up.
Well, a fault.
Tank,
Hello?
you don't only
Hello?
murder the King's English, you
Nonsense.
torture it before it dies. The word is awakened.
Oh, so what? Same difference.
Sakes alive. If it isn't one thing, it's another.
There's something wrong, Aunt Agatha?
Tank Tinker, take your feet off that couch. Crazy idiot.
Oh, me?
No, not you. The man on the phone.
Oh, who was it?
Well, how should I know? I said hello, and he said, merciful heavens. Now that I come to think of it, Hop, you'd better call the police. Call the sheriff. Oh, why do these things always happen to us?
Jumping Jenny.
What things, Aunt Agatha? What happened?
That man on the phone.
Oh, who was it?
Mercy sakes alive, don't keep asking me who was it. I told you I don't know.
Well, what did he say?
Yeah, he must have said something awful to get you all upset like this. You tell us and we'll knock his block off.
Oh, Tank Tinker, don't be a fool.
Oh, gosh, all I'm trying
Hold
to
it,
do...
Tank. Are you going to tell us what happened, Aunt Agatha, or aren't you?
Of course I'm going to tell you. Merciful heavens.
All right, then. Let's have it.
Well, I lifted the receiver and I said, hello? And then this voice, this peculiar man's voice said...
What?
He said, beware the black hand.
Huh? Beware the black hand.
Yes. I said, I beg your pardon. And he repeated it. Beware the black hand.
And what else?
Well, that's all. I asked him who he was, and he laughed and hung up. Oh, it was a dirty, nasty laugh, Hop. You'd better call the police. If the front door locked, are all the windows
Take it easy, Aunt Agatha. I'm sure it's nothing.
Oh, of course not. Nothing's anything so far as you're concerned. Unless someone's shooting at you or trying to wreck your airplane or heaven only knows what, you're not happy.
Oh, now, that's not quite true.
You don't know what it means to live peaceably like a normal human being. Always zooming and booming and booming and zooming. Oh, honestly, if I had my way, Hop Harrigan, I'd... Oh!
The telephone.
Oh, merciful heavens. It's that man again.
I'll tell him a thing or two.
Wait a minute, Tank. Let me take it.
Oh, I can handle him.
Let me take it. Hello.
Hello, Hop. Are you home?
Am I... Well, who's this, Gail?
Yes.
Well, of course I'm home. You're talking to me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hop. I'm all mixed up. What I meant to say is, are you going to be home for the rest of the evening?
Well, yes, I suppose so.
The only reason I'm asking is, well, I thought I'd drive out.
Oh, swell. Come on.
All right. I'll be there in about 10 minutes.
Gail, is anything wrong?
I'll be there in 10 minutes, Hop. So long.
Gail, wait. She hung up.
She coming over?
Yes.
Is something wrong, Hop?
I don't know. She didn't act right. She sounded jittery.
What? What'd she say?
Nothing. Just asked whether I was going to stay home and said she'd be over in 10 minutes.
Well, don't stand there wrinkling up your face like a prune. 10 minutes isn't a lifetime.
I wonder...
What do you wonder?
Nothing.
Come on, you got something bouncing around in your bean. I can tell by the look in your eyes.
Skip it.
Come on, give up.
Skip it, I said.
Oh, merciful heavens, I've got dishes to finish. I forgot all about them, and here it is, almost 7:30, oh my. Make sure the light on the porch is lit, Tank.
Okay.
Boy, you sure are a prime A #1 nitwit.
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
What'd I do now?
Don't you think Aunt Agatha was worried enough by that crazy phone call without making it worse?
What are you talking about? I didn't say boo.
No, you didn't say boo, but you tried hard to get me to say a lot more. Come on, give out. You got something bouncing around in your bean.
Oh, that.
Yes, that.
Well, you did have something bouncing around in your bean. I could tell.
I hope it's not the same thing that's bouncing around in yours.
All right. So I'm a dope. I always told you, you got the brains and I got the beef. What do you think we pulled out of so many tight spots without cashing in our chips? On account of we work good together. You do the thinking, I do the punching.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Okay. So what do you got bouncing around in your bean?
Just an idea.
Well?
It isn't worth talking about. Not yet, anyway. Go on, check the porch light.
It's on. I can see it from here. Why do you always have to hold back, Hop?
Tank, believe me, the idea isn't worth anything. When Gail gets here, she'll probably knock it into a cocked hat. Honestly, I'd tell you if it made sense, but I'm sure it doesn't.
Okay, forget it. The only thing...
Oh, that must be Gail.
If it is, that sure was a fast 10 minutes.
Let her in.
Okay.
That's the doorbell.
Yes, Aunt Agatha, Tank's answering it.
Hop, come here.
Huh? What's the matter?
Look, down there, in front of the door.
What is it?
A hand. A black hand.
For a long moment, Hop stares at the strange object lying on the threshold of the front door. Then he leans over to examine it more closely. Tank is right. It is a black hand. We'll return in a moment to continue this exciting episode and learn more about the Black Hand. So stand by. Okay, gang, here's the dope on how test pilot Gene May plans to fly the new Douglas D-558 Skystreak at a speed of 700 miles an hour. Now, this is top-drawer secret stuff, so listen closely. To begin with, Gene will spend a few days practicing taxi runs in the jet-powered, stub-winged experimental ship. Then he'll take it upstairs for a series of warm-up flights over the Douglas Aircraft Test Facility at Muroc Dry Lake, California. The warm-up flight should take a month or more. Finally, once Gene is satisfied with the ship's performance, he'll open her up wide and try to reach the phenomenal speed of 700 or more miles per hour in level flight. And if anyone can do it, Gene May can. As a Douglas test pilot for the past 6 years, he has put such famous planes as the A-20 Havoc, the A-26 Invader, the SBD Dauntless, the C-74 Globemaster, the AD-1 Sky Raider, and the new DC-6 Superliner through their paces. He's also tested 2 types of jet planes, the P-80 Shooting Star and the P-59 Aerocomet. Now, if you don't think that's a lot of flying, you're off the beam. And it's the kind of flying that requires nerve and stamina. Gene May, as I told you at the opening of the show, is now 42 years old, but he's in top physical condition. So if any of you are thinking of someday working as test pilots, watch yourselves. Make sure you get plenty of good, nourishing food, plenty of sleep, and enough exercise to keep you in trim. If you do, you'll make the grade, and there'll be a job waiting for you. Fellas and girls, our country needs you in the various jobs open in the field of aviation. Get set to take your place in the sky. And always remember, America needs flyers. And now, back to our story. A mysterious phone call from a man who warned Aunt Agatha to beware the Black Hand. An equally strange and mysterious call from Gail Nolan. And finally, the appearance of what looks like a black hand outside the door of their house has Hop and Tank strangely puzzled and not a little concerned. We join them now in the living room where they're examining the black hand, keeping their voices down so that Aunt Agatha in the kitchen will not hear them and become alarmed.
It's one of those plaster hands they use in store windows to display gloves. Someone painted it black.
What's it supposed to mean?
I don't know. The mafia in Italy used a black hand to...
Is Gail here, Hop?
Oh, wait a minute. No, she isn't, Aunt Agatha.
Who was at the door?
Nobody.
She won't fall for that.
What do you mean, nobody?
What'd I tell you?
I heard that doorbell just...
Quick, Tank, hide this thing under the couch.
What do you mean nobody was there? Tank Tinker, what in heaven's name are you doing on the floor?
I dropped something.
Oh, there's the door again.
Oh, that must be Gail. I'll take it.
What did you drop, Tank?
Huh?
I said, what did you drop?
Nothing.
Now, you just told me you dropped something.
I made a mistake.
Hello, Aunt Agatha.
Hello, Gail.
Hello, Tank.
Hi.
Oh, honestly, I don't know what's gotten into these boys. They've got something up their sleeves.
Oh, what's the matter now?
What isn't the matter? Gail, are you in on this?
In on what, Aunt Agatha?
I don't know, but there's something. They don't look right. And come to think of it, neither do you. Oh, dear, ever since that man with the black hand called...
What did you say?
Oh, some idiotic fool called to warn me to beware of the black hand, whatever that is.
Good heavens.
Catch your hot nail.
It's all right. I'm all right.
Oh, here, you better sit down. Get some water, Tank.
No, please. I'm all right now. Really, I am.
Now, look here, young lady. What sort of nonsense is this?
Well, I'm afraid that it isn't nonsense, Aunt Agatha. I'm afraid we're all in trouble. Serious trouble.
Obviously shaken, her cheeks drained of color, and her eyes bright with a strange fear, Gail Nolan issues a solemn warning. What does she mean? Gang, don't miss tomorrow's exciting episode of this brand new mystery adventure when Gail tells Hop, Tank, and Aunt Agatha why she believes they're all in serious trouble. You'll want to hear every word of the mystery of the Vanishing Men. So tune in tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways. So long, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same mutual station. Hop Harrigan is a transcribed, copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday, same time, same mutual station. Presenting Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways.
CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX-4. Wind southeast, sailing 1200. All clear.
Okay, this is Hop Harrigan coming in.
Yes, it's America's ace of the airways, coming in for another transcribed episode in the adventures of Hop Harrigan. Gang, I'll bet if you were asked what the White House is, you'd answer the question before I could say Hop Harrigan. But say, what if I asked you what our flying White House is? Could you answer that? I guess you'd have to think a bit before you answered. But we do have a flying White House, gang. It's a giant Douglas DC-6, a new 4-engine job that has a cruising speed of 315 miles per hour. Well, by now I imagine you've all guessed to whom it belongs. That's right, it's the presidential plane President Truman will soon be flying in. The DC-6 is being tested for him by Douglas and should be in use very shortly. You know, fellas and girls, the first president to use a plane as a mode of transportation was President Roosevelt. If you remember your history, you know that all the other chief executives of our country had to use either a train or a car. Just think of all the time Mr. Roosevelt and Mr. Truman saved when they traveled by air. Well, now, getting back to the plane, up to now, Mr. Truman has been using the Sacred Cow, a DC-4 used first by President Roosevelt. The Sacred Cow has been flown all over the world, and now that Douglas has made this new and faster DC-6, the old DC-4 will be scrapped. When the president goes on a trip, he can't leave the nation's business back at the Capitol, so he takes it along with him. And that's why the plane is called the Flying White House. In just a few minutes at the end of the program, I'll tell you more about it and about the many famous people who have flown with the president. So don't forget to listen. And now to our story. A mysterious phone call from a man who warned Hop's Aunt Agatha to beware of the Black Hand was the beginning of a chain of circumstances that are strange indeed. Some 10 minutes after the telephone call, the doorbell rang. Answering it, Hop and Tank found a black hand on the threshold, a plaster hand similar to those used in store windows to display gloves. Then, to cap everything, Gail Nolan arrived with a warning that they were all in serious trouble. As we continue now to some hours later, Aunt Agatha has retired with a nervous headache. Hop, Tank, and Gail are in the living room of the house near the airport, conversing softly.
Let's start from the beginning, Gail. You got a phone call at 7 o'clock.
That's right. I remember the time because the radio was on and the announcer had said 7 p.m.
What program were you listening to?
Well, that's unimportant, Tank. I answered the phone. It was a man calling, and he asked whether I knew where he could reach you.
He used my name?
Yes, he said, where can I locate Hop Harrigan?
Didn't he say nothing about me?
No, Tank.
Better luck next time, pal. Go on, Gail.
Well, without thinking, I gave him your telephone number, and then I asked who was calling. That was my mistake. I should have asked first.
Well, what did he say?
He seemed to hesitate, and then he said, this is the Black Hand. And he laughed peculiarly and hung up.
He did the same thing to Aunt Agatha, right, Hop?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's what frightened me when I walked in here, and someone, it was Aunt Agatha, I guess, mentioned the Black Hand.
But why do you think we're in serious trouble, Gail?
Well, after all, Hop, you know what the Black Hand means.
All I know is that it was used by the Mafia in Italy.
I still want to know, what's the Mafia?
A gang of professional killers in Italy. Years ago, anyone who received a Black Hand was almost certain to lose his life.
Jumping Jenny's, and I'm sitting on
You're
it.
sitting on what?
The Black Hand.
Hey, what are you talking about?
As usual, he's talking too much. Where is it, under the couch?
Yeah.
All right, now that you've spilled the beans, get it out.
What is it, Hop?
You'll see. Find a Tank?
Yeah, here it is.
Oh, don't let it frighten you, Gail. It's just a plastic glove display dummy painted black.
Where did you get it?
We found it outside the front door a few minutes before you got here.
Who left it there?
That's the $64 question.
Hop, I don't like this. We better call the sheriff for the state police. For all we know, it... Oh, what's that?
The door.
I'll get it.
Wait a minute, Tank. Let's play this smart. You go out the back way and circle around the house.
Okay.
Here, take this fireplace poker with you.
I don't need it as long as I got my fist.
Now sneak around, Tank. Don't gallop.
Okay.
Hop, do you think it's safe to send him out there alone?
Now, Tank can take care of himself. Come on, let's see who's at the door.
Maybe you'd better take the fireplace poker.
Good idea. All I hope is that Aunt Agatha doesn't wake up.
I gave her a sedative. She'll be all right.
Now, stand behind me, Gail, when I open the door.
All right, but please, Hop.
Here goes.
Nobody's there.
Somebody rang that bell. It just didn't ring by itself. Isn't that porch light switch?
Where is it?
On your left.
Why do you want the light out?
Protection. Now, you stay here.
No, I'm going with you.
Now, look here.
I said I'm going with you.
All right, but stay behind me. Come on.
I don't know what you think you're going to accomplish by this.
Someone's out there. Someone rang that bell. Watch the steps.
Well, I still say that what we ought to do...
Hold it, Gail.
Oh, Hop, this is ridiculous. You just...
Gail, please.
What's that?
A hoot owl. But I heard something else a moment ago. It sounded like...
Like what?
Hear it.
No.
Don't move. I think there's someone behind the hedge. Stay where you are.
Hop, be careful.
Hey, get you!
Hop, what happened?
Tank, you fool! Get off! Jumping Jenny's.
Hop, who is it?
It's Tank, the idiot. Well, how was I supposed to know? I couldn't see nothing. I heard somebody coming in.
All right, skip it. But whoever named you Tank did a swell job. You came at me just like one.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hop. If I'd have known it was
You
you...
both better come in before you get hurt. It's too dark to see anything out there.
Okay, come on.
Oh, I thought sure I had the guy that time. I was all set to bounce one off his chin when you yelled out.
I don't know how I managed it. You were sitting on my stomach like a ton of bricks.
Heavy, huh?
No, light as a feather.
Not so loud. Close the door, Tank.
Okay.
Hop, I still say the smart thing to do is to notify the police.
We'll talk about it in the living room. Put the porch light on again, Tank.
Right.
There's nothing to talk about. Whoever's responsible for... Oh,
What's the matter?
look. Look, the piano.
Oh, you just saw that. That's the black hand
No,
tapping.
no, the one you showed me is over there on the coffee table. There are two of them now.
Hop stares in dumbfounded amazement, and Tank, entering the living room from the hall, stops short, and his jaw drops. Gail is right. There are now two black hands. Or are they seeing things? We'll know in a moment when we return for the surprise climax of today's episode, so stand by. At the beginning of today's program, I told you about the Flying White House. The first presidential plane used as a flying White House, as I mentioned, was the Sacred Cow, a Douglas DC-4. It has flown approximately 431,000 miles since 1944. That's equivalent to almost 20 times around the world, carrying two presidents and many high-ranking officials. President Truman, the nation's flyingest president, used the Sacred Cow for trips to Potsdam, Mexico City, and his home, Independence, Missouri. The new DC-6 he will shortly get has been named the Independence in honor of President Truman's native city. But not only does our president fly, but many of our generals and cabinet members accompany him. The Sacred Cow flew Generals Eisenhower, Arnold, and Omar Bradley, Secretaries of State Hull, Burns, and Marshall. Recently, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia and his party were flown from Washington to London. Madame Chiang Kai-shek of China was flown from Rio de Janeiro to the United States. President Alaman of Mexico and the Prince of Iraq have also been passengers on the plane. The new, faster and larger Flying White House has a range of 4,400 miles. The ship has radar facilities and is equipped with every known device for flying safety. The interior of the new transport is equipped with practically everything you might have in your own home. The president even has a long mahogany table built right in the ship so that he can hold his executive conferences before and after he attends his various meetings for which he uses the plane. Well, fellas and girls, the air age has really arrived. So get set to take your place in the sky. For remember, America needs flyers. And now back to our story. Tank is the first to break the silence brought about by the sudden and mysterious appearance of a second black hand.
Jumping Jenny's, where did it come from?
Don't touch it, Tank.
Why? You think maybe it's a booby trap?
No, but it may have fingerprints on it.
Well, instead of standing around gaping, why doesn't one of you call the police? How much longer
All
does
right,
this
call
have
the
to go
sheriff,
on?
Tank. Ask him to get right out.
Okay.
You should have called an hour ago instead of just...
Stay away from that phone, Mr. Tinker.
Jumping Jenny's, who said that?
I did. Stay away from that phone.
Hop, the house is haunted.
Don't be a fool.
Hop.
What?
Voice came from the dining room.
Yeah, it sounded muffled to me, as though it... Wait a minute. There's a closet in the dining room.
Want me to go in and check it?
Stay where you are.
Suppose I go out to the office and use the phone there. I can get the sheriff out here in 10 minutes.
No. Let's try something first. Who's in there?
The Black Hand.
Hop, I don't like this.
Neither do I.
Whoever you are, you'd better come out in the open or there'll be trouble.
Sure. Trouble for you, Mr. Harrigan.
Hop, he knows the both of us.
There's something fishy about this. You stay put, Gale. Come on, Tank, let's investigate.
Investigate what?
Let's see who's in there. Snap the dining room light on.
I hope you know what you're doing.
Snap it on.
Okay, but I don't like messing around with people you can't see.
That's better. Stay back, Gale.
There's no one in the dining room.
They must be in that closet. Tank.
Yeah.
Sneak around the table and open the closet door from the right. I'll take care of whoever's in there.
How about doing it the other way? You open the door and I'll do the taking care.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay, but I hope you know what you're doing.
Hop, here, take the fireplace poker.
Oh, thanks. Now, keep that. All set, Tank?
All set.
Go ahead, open the door.
Hello, Harrigan.
What? Bill King.
What? Hi, Tinker. How's the fat boy?
Why, you dirty...
No, you mustn't say that naughty word. I presume the charming young lady is Miss Gail Nolan?
Hop, who is this man?
Permit me to introduce myself, Miss Nolan. William C. King of Continental News Service, but you just call me Bill, huh? Well, it sure is nice to see you boys again.
Bill, were you responsible for all this?
For all what, Skipper?
You know what, you lop-eared baboon.
Same old Tinker. Walks like a man, bellows like a bull.
You take that back or
Cut it out.
Well, tell him to...
Cut it out. All right, let's have it, Bill. What was the idea?
What, the black hand business? Oh, just a little gag I dreamed up.
Your sense of humor is somewhat strange, Mr.
King, as in royalty.
You mean you made those telephone calls and delivered those plaster dummy hands as a gag?
Sure, just to pep things up around Lakeville. Town's too sleepy.
We like it.
What are you doing in Lakeville to begin with?
Well, that, Skipper's a horse of a different color. I'm here on a story.
What kind of a story?
Oh, can't tell. Might be the biggest thing since the atomic bomb.
Oh, sure.
On the level. That black hand business was just a gag, and believe me, I had plenty of trouble digging up those plaster hands. But the story is strictly the McCoy.
What is it?
You won't believe this, but it's on the up and up. I'm looking for a guy who can make men disappear.
Now, wait a
Honest
minute.
Injun, Harrigan. I trailed him for 2 weeks before I got a line on him.
What do you mean he can make men disappear?
Just that. He looks at them, makes with the business, and poof, they're gone.
Hop, he's either drunk or crazy.
I never drink, Miss Nolan. As for being crazy, wait until tomorrow. He'll be here in Lakeville.
Who'll be in Lakeville?
The man who makes people disappear. Tomorrow you'll see him with your own eyes.
Puzzled and confused, Hop, Tank, and Gail Nolan look at one another and then at Bill King. The smart, quick-on-the-trigger reporter seems to be on the level. And he is, as you'll discover when you hear the next episode of The Mystery of the Vanishing Men. Never before have Hop and Tank been involved in an adventure as puzzling as this one, so don't miss a single exciting word. Tune in, same time, same station, and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways. So long, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same mutual station. Hop Harrigan is a transcribed, copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday, same time, same mutual station. Presenting Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways.
CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX-4. Wind southeast, ceiling 1200. All clear.
Okay, this is Hop Harrigan coming in.
Yes, it's America's ace of the airways, coming in for another transcribed episode of the adventures of Hop Harrigan. Say, gang, did you know that one of the richest men in the world is also one of the greatest test pilots and aviation designers? Do you know whom I'm talking about? It's Howard Hughes, a tall young Texan who learned to fly when he was only 14 and has been astounding people with his aviation achievements ever since. Howard Hughes always had real mechanical genius. When he was 12, he went up to his attic with a book of knowledge, the ignition system of his family car, and a doorbell. And with this equipment, he built a ham wireless station and then became one of the first persons to get a government license as station operator in the Lone Star State. Once, when his father refused to buy him a motorcycle, Howard Hughes made his own motorcycle from a bicycle, a storage battery, and an automobile self-starter. Orphaned at 18, he inherited a $300,000 interest in a business that manufactured rough bits used in drilling oil wells. Teenage Howard had to prove before a judge that he had the brains and ability of a much older man in order to get permission to take full charge of this business. Well, he did prove it. But for a while, many people thought the judge was crazy. Well, that judge has been proved correct in his judgment, however, because today Howard Hughes is not only worth about $125 million, but he's also a leading figure in the development of our air power. I'll tell you more about some of Howard Hughes' revolutionary and successful planes and aviation inventions at the end of the program, so don't forget to listen. And now to our story. With Bill King, wisecracking reporter for the Continental News Service, identified as the man behind the Black Hand mystery.
I did it for a gag. I figured it'd pep things up around this one-horse town.
And with Gail Nolan properly indignant at the reference to Lakeville as a one-horse town.
We like it here. If you don't, there's a train out in an hour.
And with Tank ready to tear the reporter limb from limb.
You ought to hit you into the middle of next week.
Hop was forced to step in and quiet things down.
All right, that's enough. We didn't think the Black Hand gag was funny, Bill. Maybe you did. Okay, we'll forget it. But don't ever pull anything like that again. Practical jokes can be dangerous.
Okay, Skipper. Now do you want to know what I'm doing in Lakeville?
Who cares?
Well, maybe Miss Nolan does.
Miss Nolan doesn't, I assure you.
Boy, oh boy, I'm as popular around here as a cat in a cage of canaries. Pass me the poison, Harrigan. I might as well pass out of the picture.
I'll get you a gun. It'll be quicker.
Thanks, pal. Like I always say, a friend in need is a friend indeed. I'll get you a gun and watch you bleed.
Go ahead, laugh, Tank. You too, Gail. Oh, you both know it's funny.
Yeah, funny as a crutch.
I'm going home, Hop. Good night.
Wait a minute, Miss Nolan. I still haven't told you about the guy who makes people disappear, you know.
I don't think I'm interested.
Oh, come on, Gail. Be a good sport.
I've got to get home, Hop. It's almost midnight.
Hey, she's right. I got to blow, too. I got to meet the 12:20 train from the east.
What for?
He's on it.
Who's on it?
The guy who makes people disappear.
Oh, don't pay no attention to him, Hop. He's giving out with the gags again.
No, this is on the level. Honest Injun, and strictly the McCoy.
Hop, I've got to go.
1 minute, Gail. Now give it to us fast, Bill. What's it all about?
There's a guy. I don't know his name, and I don't know anything about him. All I know is he's due in Lakeville on the 12:20.
You don't know what he looks like?
Wouldn't know him from Adam.
Then how do you expect to find him?
Well, it's like this. This guy's got a funny habit. He's always whistling to himself. And he whistles the same tune over and over again. I don't know the name of it, but it goes like this. Remember?
Yeah, it's a funeral dirge.
Yeah, that's what he whistles.
Hop, I can't wait around listening to this drivel.
Now, just a minute, Miss Nolan. A gag's a gag and a joke's a joke, but I told you, this is strictly on the up and up. I've been trailing this guy all over the country.
You said he makes people disappear, Bill. Just what do you mean?
I wish I could tell you, Harrigan, but I can't.
Because you don't know.
Right you are, Tinker. I don't know. If I did, I would have nailed him a long time ago. But he's smart. He's smart and he's slippery. He's got a million disguises. In one town he's a milkman, another he's a brush salesman, but wherever he stops, somebody disappears. And his next stop's Lakeville. Now, look, I gotta meet that train. How about coming down the station with me, huh?
Are you kidding?
All right, so you don't believe me. You think I'm talking through my hat. I'll give you a buzz in the morning, Harry.
Wait a minute. You've got a car, haven't you?
Yeah, hired it from the garage.
Well, you're driving into town anyway, Gail. I think we'll go along with Bill.
What for?
But just for fun.
You call it fun hanging around with him?
Now, check the back door, Tank. Make sure it's locked. I'll leave a note for Aunt Agatha in case she gets up.
She won't, but I certainly think it's ridiculous for you to go traipsing down to the station at this hour of the night on a fool's errand.
Well, how about you joining us, huh?
No, thank you. I've got better things to do with my time. I'll run along now.
Oh, wait a minute. The back door locked, Tank?
Yeah.
We'll follow you into town, Gail. Grab your jacket, Tank.
Of all the dopey, dumb fool stunts I ever saw, this one takes a cake. You won't be talking that way, 2-10, if we nab this guy.
That'll be the day. Hey, come on. If you want to make that 12:20, you'll have to step. It's midnight.
Miss Nolan's gonna turn right. Do we follow her?
No, keep on straight. Gail lives on that street. The station's up a few blocks.
Oh.
Hey, Tank, you still with us?
Huh?
I wondered whether you were still with us.
Yeah, I wish I wasn't.
Hey, turn left at the next corner, Bill.
Okay. I guess we'll make it, huh?
Yeah, the train must be late. There's the station. You've got to cross the tracks to get to it. Slow down. It's pretty bumpy.
This rattle-trap-it bump if you wrote it on glass. All it is 4 wheels hitched onto to a tomato can with half a motor under them.
Now, watch it.
How do you like that? She stalled.
Now, don't sit there. Get it going. You're on the tracks. Your battery's weak.
What battery? I'm getting out of this jalopy.
Hey, wait a minute, Tank. Let's try pushing it.
Yeah, we'd better.
You stay behind the wheel.
All right, Tank, get behind her and push.
I had a hunch we'd end up like this.
Come on, stop grumbling. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Wait a minute. Hey, Bill.
Yeah?
Is she in neutral?
Huh?
Is she in neutral?
Holy cats, the train's coming.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, she's in neutral now.
Oh, the stupid lug, he had her in gear.
Stop talking and push. Come on. A little more, Tank.
There's the train coming around the bend.
Push, Tank, push.
Hey, hurry up. The train's coming.
He's telling us. One more shove, Tank. Lean on it. She's over.
Another second and she'd have been knocked to kingdom come.
Oh, brother. That sure was a close call. Thanks a lot, fellas.
If we had any brains, we'd have left you sitting there on the track.
Oh, come on, Tinker. Let's bury the hatchet, huh?
Look, if I had a hatchet, there'd only be one place I'd bury it.
You're acting like a child, Tank. Grow up. Come on, I gotta see who gets off the train. Are you coming, Tank?
Wait in the car.
I guess he's really burned up, huh? Tank's got a stubborn streak a mile wide. But he'll be all right if he gets fast. Hey, there's a man and a woman getting off.
No. This guy travels solo. Hey, got the conductor up ahead?
No, that's a passenger. He got off the smoking car. There's another man getting off at the other end of the train.
This is going to be tough. We can't watch both of them.
We won't have to. That one up ahead's a railroad man. Overalls and a striped cap.
That doesn't mean a thing. I told you this bird specializes in disguises. It's a matter of... Wait, hold it. Listen. Hey, it's him. It's the guy we're after.
Which one is it?
I can't tell with that train engine hissing. The bird that came out of the smoker. He's heading for the road behind the station. Come on.
Excited now at the prospect of being close on the trail of a man Bill King says is gifted with strange and mysterious powers, Hop and the young reporter follow the sound of the whistle. We'll be back in a moment to find out what happens, so stand by. Now a little more about Howard Hughes, the boy wonder of aviation, who has won practically every aviation award there is, although he designed and built his first plane, the H-1, only 12 years ago. Hughes really hit the jackpot with this plane because it set 2 speed records, a land plane record of 352 miles per hour and a transcontinental record of 7 hours and 28 minutes. In 1938, he set a round-the-world record of 3.5 days that lasted for 9 years. Hughes also designed the Constellation, the largest and fastest transport in the air. And I want to tell you about 2 of his inventions that together speeded up machine gun fire. At the beginning of the war, our aerial machine guns could fire at the rate of only 950 shells a minute. And since such cartridges were packed 50 to a box, the gunner had to reload frequently. Well, the enemy soon found this out and attacked in pairs. First, one would draw our gunner's fire, and while he loaded, the other enemy plane would zoom in for the kill. So Hughes invented a flexible ammunition feed chute that coiled around the inside of a plane like a snake and held a continuous supply of ammunition. Then he invented an electric booster that pulled the shells into the machine gun. Well, these 2 inventions saved the lives of countless fighter pilots. Perhaps Howard Hughes' greatest aviation achievement is the flying boat, which is the largest airplane in the world, made almost entirely of laminated wood. It has 8 engines totaling enough power to supply a city of 36,000 people. The flying boat will make its first flight soon, and we guarantee that it will also make aviation history. Hughes learned to fly when he was a teenager and believes in flying for every boy and girl. Take a tip from Howard Hughes and learn to fly because America needs flyers. And now back to our story. Following a man who got off the 12:20 train at the Lakeville station, a man who whistles the notes of a funeral dirge over and over again, Hop and Bill King keep well behind him as he leads the way through the almost dark streets near the railroad terminal.
Which way's he heading, Hop? I mean, what part of town? The residential section. Up around where Gail Nolan lives.
You don't think he knows we're following him, do you?
I doubt it. We're almost a block behind him. It's pretty dark.
What do you make of that whistling? The same thing over and over again, like a busted phonograph record.
Yeah, at least if he whistled something cheerful, but why a funeral dirge?
He got me.
He seems to know where he's going. Evidently he's not a complete stranger in town.
As far as I know, he's never been in Lakeville before, though.
I still don't get that disappearing business. You know for a fact that he's been able to make people disappear? I'm telling you, whenever he passes through a town, somebody vanishes like a puff of smoke. Oh, who, for instance? All kinds of people. Do they have anything in common? That's what I can't figure out. I can't find out. I figured the same way you're trying to figure. I looked for a pattern, but no soap. All I could dig up was... Hold it, Bill. Whistling stopped. Hey, there he is. There he is. I can see him in the light from that corner street lamp. He's turning left. That's the street the Nolans live on. Let's go. As I was saying, all I could dig up was the fact that someone in each town disappeared. In one place it'd be a druggist, in another place the editor of a newspaper, another place a farmer. What about the police? Don't they figure in this? Sure, the local police. So what? They look for the guys who disappeared, and that's all. I was thinking of calling the FBI and tipping off John Temple. Now, you remember him? Sure, he worked on that missing transport case. That's right. Now, maybe if we got a line on this bird tonight, I'd call Temple in the morning. The trouble is, Temple can't... Look, he's turning into one of the houses. You see him? Where? The fourth house up from the corner. Good Lord. What's the matter? That's Gail Nolan's house.
Puzzled by the whole weird chain of events that has led up to the trailing of the man who whistles a funeral dirge, Hop is dumbfounded now as he watches the mysterious man mount the steps of the Nolan house. What does it mean? Is Gail his next victim? Gang, there's mystery ahead and plenty of excitement, so be sure to hear the next episode in Hop's newest adventure, The Mystery of the Vanishing Men. Tune in, same time, same station, and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airwaves. So long, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same station. Hop Harrigan is the transcribed copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine.
Well, hello there, everyone. This is your 5-minute break. And I said 5 like that because I still have not decided if it's going to be 5 minutes or not. But it will be 5 minutes because now I've decided. This is a really dumb recording, but I'm keeping it in for your entertainment. Enjoy the music, and I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. All right. Bye, guys. What's this? I finally made a 5-minute break? That's not 8 minutes? Wow, that was funny. I am so funny. Alright, this is the end of your 5-minute break. I hope you did what you wanted in life. Woo! The next few portions of this listen along are coming right up. Woo! Alright. Enjoy, guys. Okay. Yeah. Bye.
Presenting Hop Harrigan, America's Ace of the Airways. CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX-4. Wind southeast, ceiling 1200. All clear.
Okay, this is Hop Harrigan coming in. Yes, it's America's Ace of the Airways, coming in for another transcribed episode of the adventures of Hop Harrigan. Say, gang, how much do you really know about the United States Army Air Forces? Oh, I don't mean its size or the number of planes it flies. I mean, how much of its background and how many of the little-known facts about America's flying soldiers do you know? For instance, did you know that during the war, we spent more to develop radar than we did to perfect the atom bomb? That's right. What would you say if I told you that the Army's first airplane contract specified that the flying machine had to be transportable on an Army escort wagon to be pulled by 2 or 4 mules? Can you imagine a B-29 being pulled by 4 mules? Well, it sounds fantastic, but those were the Army's first orders back in the early 1900s. If you think that sounds funny, just listen to this. In 1908, the Air Forces were cut 50% when a certain Private Barrett went AWOL. In that year, the entire Air Forces consisted of 2 men. Some of you girls might be interested in knowing that 42,000 WACs served in the Army Air Forces during World War II, 7,000 of whom were stationed overseas in 21 different countries. In just a few moments, I'll be back at the end of the program with more little-known facts about the Air Forces. So don't forget to listen. And now to our story. When Bill King, wisecracking reporter for the Continental News Service, arrived in Lakeville with a fantastic story that he was on the trail of a mysterious, unnamed man who had the power to make other men disappear, Hop, Tank, and Gail Nolan were frankly skeptical. However, Hop and Tank agreed to accompany him to the Lakeville Railroad Station, where, according to Bill King, the man was due to arrive on a midnight train. The only means of identifying him, again according to King, was a curious habit he had of whistling a funeral dirge. With Tank waiting in Bill King's car, Hop and the reporter watched the train pull in. Sure enough, a man in a wide-brimmed black hat got off and started up the street from the station, whistling the funeral dirge. Unable to see the man's face in the darkness, Hop and King followed him. And to Hop's amazement, he turned in at Gail Nolan's house, 4 blocks from the station. As we join Hop and King now, they are approaching the house.
Hey, are you sure that's Miss Nolan's house, Harrigan? You asked me that once, and I said yes. Oh, a guy can make a mistake, you know. That's why they put erasers on pencils. This is no mistake. I've been in the house a dozen times. It's the only one on the street with a wrought iron gate. Did you see it? Yeah. What'll we do? Hold up a minute. There's a light on the 2nd floor. That could be Gail's room. I don't exactly remember. She doesn't live alone in that big house, does she? No, she lives with her father. He's the county judge. And there's a housekeeper. You know, it just occurred to me. What? We saw the guy turn in here, sure, but that doesn't mean to say he's inside the house. Where else would he be? I don't know, around the back, maybe? Wherever he is, we better warn him. Come on. Watch the gate, don't let it slam. I got it. The light's still on upstairs. Somebody's up. Watch the steps. Oh, we should have worn sneakers. We sound like a herd of elephants. It's a good thing Tank isn't along. We'd sound like 2 herds. Now to find the bell. I don't remember whether it's on the left side or the... Hey, you see what I see. What? The front door. It's open. Run your hand over the lock. Feel if it was jimmied. No. And he must have had a key. And he left the door open in case he had to make a quick getaway. Bill, listen. Hear the whistling. Come on, follow me. Hey, you going in? Yes, but quietly. Stay close behind me. Okay. Remind me to get my shoes away. They sound like a couple of rusty hinges. He's upstairs. That's where the whistling's coming from. Oh, boy, I wish we had some light. It's black as a witch's heart in here. You know, it's a good thing you know where you go. What happened? I tripped over a chair.
Who's down there?
Oh, that does it. Now we're in trouble.
Dad, what was that noise?
That's
I don't
Gail
know.
and her
Casey's
father.
downstairs.
You sure, Hop?
I'll go down and
Yeah,
have a look.
positive. Gail,
Oh, Dad, wait, someone called me.
Who's down there?
it's all right, Judge Nolan. It's Hop Harrigan.
Hop,
What in the name of thunder are you doing here at this hour of the night?
Hop, turn on a light.
Where's the switch?
On the wall near the door, the right-hand side coming in.
I'll get it.
Did you find it, Hop?
We're looking. Got it.
I'm coming down.
I'll be down as soon as I get a robe.
We're in for it now, Harrigan. I'll let me do all the explaining. Pleasure's yours, pal.
All right, now what's the explanation of this, Hop? Was that with you, Tank?
No, sir. It's a friend of mine. Bill King, Judge Nolan. Pleased to meet you, Judge. Bill's with Continental News. He's their ace reporter.
Look here, if you think I'm going to be interviewed at this time of night, young man, you're crazy.
Well, Bill doesn't want an interview, sir. We're both here to warn you about something.
Warn me? Warn me about what?
Well, it's this way, sir.
Oh, you too.
Evening, Miss Nolan.
Well, it happens to be morning, young man.
Yeah, I guess you're right, sir.
Gail, do you know this gentleman, Mr.
King. Bill King.
Yes, unfortunately. Hop, why did you bring him here?
I didn't bring him, Gail. We came together. And that is, we followed someone. He turned into your house.
No, just a moment. Now, let's have things in order.
All right, sir. I'll start at the beginning. Gail's already heard this, but it won't hurt to repeat.
Are you going to repeat that fantastic fairy tale of his all over
Gail,
again?
please. Go ahead, Hop.
Well, it's like this. Bill's in Lakeville on a story. He's looking for a rather strange man, and somehow he learned the man was coming in on the 12:20 train tonight. So he met the train. Two men got off, and one of them seemed to be the fellow Bill was after. So we followed him, and he turned in at this house.
Oh, he did he?
Honest, Judge, we both saw him. That's right, sir.
Well, tell me, how did you know he was the man you were looking for, Mr. King?
Well, this'll sound wacky to you, Judge, but this bird has a funny habit. He whistles most of the time. He whistles a funeral march. You know, the one that goes like this.
And you followed this man because he was whistling, is that it?
That's right. What's so funny about that? I don't get it. Hey, what's the score, Harrigan? I don't know.
Dad, why are you laughing?
You know, they followed me.
You?
Yes. I was at a meeting in New City, and I came home by train.
Were you whistling that funeral march?
Yes.
Holy smoke. Can you make men disappear?
Can I what?
Skip it, Bill. Judge, why was the front door open?
Oh, so that's how you got in.
Oh, yes.
Well, I tried to close it gently so as not to awaken anyone. I suppose it didn't latch. This is the funniest thing I ever heard.
Excuse me, Judge. There's one little item I don't get. There's one little twist that puzzles me.
What is it?
How come you were whistling that funeral thing?
Well, that's an interesting question, young man. Well, for some strange reason, it was running through my mind.
Yeah, but how come?
Well, now, let me see. Oh, yes, I know. The train was a little late pulling out of New City. They were hooking on a special car. It seems the carnival had just finished playing New City and was moving on. I got off to watch them attach the car, and I heard one of the carnival people whistling that thing. I suppose it just stuck in my mind.
Now we're cooking with gas. Did you find out where the carnival was headed?
Well, no. I had no particular interest in it.
For your information, the carnival is playing Lakeville tomorrow and Saturday. There have been posters all over town.
Wow. You know what that means? I think so. It means the guy we're looking for is right under our noses. Now we can't miss.
What can't you miss?
Putting the finger on him. Don't you see? You heard one of the carnival crowd whistling that funeral march, and you picked it up.
Yes.
That means the bird we're looking for is the one you heard whistling. And he's in the carnival.
I'm afraid I still don't understand.
Don't even bother to try, Dad. He has pipe dreams.
Gail, I think you're being a little unfair.
And I think you're being led around by the nose, Hop Harrigan. Any sane, normal person...
No, just a minute. 1 o'clock in the morning is no time for arguments. I take it Gail and this young man aren't on very friendly terms.
Well, that's only because she thinks I'm making this up, Judge. But I'm not. Take my word for it. Unless we collar this funeral march whistler before the carnival pulls up stakes and moves on, someone in this town is going to disappear. And it might be you.
Pointing a finger at Judge Nolan, Bill King repeats his warning.
Yes. It might be you, or your daughter, or Harrigan, or anybody. Remember that.
Somewhat startled, Judge Nolan stares at the reporter in puzzled bewilderment. We'll return in just a moment to learn what happens, so stand by. At the beginning of today's program, I told you some little-known facts about our Army Air Forces. Well, here's some more inside information that very few people know. For every soldier serving in the Air Forces during World War II, there was a civilian working in an aircraft factory building the planes necessary to keep the Air Forces at full strength. And there were 2,411,298 enlisted men and officers in the Air Forces. Now, that means it took close to 5 million men and women to keep our ships flying. Incidentally, on August 1st, the Army Air Forces celebrates its 40th anniversary, and we've already arranged to have a top Air Forces pilot appear on the Hop Harrigan program as our guest. We can't tell you who he is now. It's a military secret, but you'll know him when you hear him. So keep that date in mind, August 1st. Well, now, let's see if we have any more interesting Air Force facts. Oh, yes, here's one. Of the 282 Congressional Medals of Honor awarded during the war, 38 went to Air Forces men. Did you know that almost 20 million tons of Army Air Forces supplies were sent out of the country during the war? Yes, and these supplies would have filled a warehouse 75 feet wide with the front door in Washington, D.C., and the back door in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Some warehouse. Here's another. The first aerial bomb used by the Army Air Forces was heaved out of the plane by hand. No bomb bays, no automatic releases, just hand power. And it only weighed 18 pounds, as against the 2-ton blockbusters dropped on Berlin. Oh, yes, gang, we've gone a long way since 1908, when the Army Air Forces numbered 2 men. And we're going further, and there'll be a place for you. So remember, America needs flyers. And now, back to our story. Having warned Judge Nolan and Gale that unless the mysterious man who whistles the funeral march is apprehended, someone in Lakeville is going to disappear, Bill King and Hop left the Nolan house and returned to the railroad station, where King had left his car with Tank in it. We find them now walking across the gravel parking lot towards the car.
You know, come to think of it, I'm kind of glad Tinker decided to wait in the car. With him along, we could have taken an awful rhythm for following the judge, huh?
Ah, you're not kidding. $1 to donuts. He's fast asleep in the back seat.
What'll we tell him?
I don't tell him anything. At least not until he stops sulking.
He's all right. I don't blame him for thinking this is a lot of malarkey. I don't blame Miss Nolan either.
Well, forget it for now. If Tank asks any questions, let me answer them.
Okay. Hope we can get this jalopy started.
I'll flood it before you step on the starter. Okay, Tank, wake up. Hey, Bill.
What?
Tank's not in the car.
Are you kidding?
Oh, car's empty.
Oh, no.
What are you thinking?
You know what I'm thinking.
Yes, Hop knows exactly what Bill King is thinking. The Tank has become a victim of the mysterious man who whistles the funeral march. The Tank has disappeared. Gang, tomorrow's episode will have you sitting on the edges of your chairs as Hop and Bill King begin their almost frantic search for Tank. So don't miss it. Tune in tomorrow, same time, same station, and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways. So long, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same station. Hop Harrigan is a transcribed, copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine. Presenting Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways.
CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX-4. Wind southeast,
is Hop Harrigan coming in. Yes, it's America's ace of the airways, coming in for another transcribed episode of the adventures of Hop Harrigan. Say, gang, ever watch a heavy bomber fly overhead with a thunderous roar or a speedy pursuit ship zoom over the horizon? Sure you have. And I'll bet you've envied the pilot up there, climbing, banking, and putting the ship through its paces. Now, can you imagine what it would be like to climb into one of those planes yourself and fly up into the sky? Can't you just hear the roar of the engines in your ears and feel that stick in your hands? But to get that fine feeling, you don't have to be a pilot of a heavy bomber or even a pursuit ship. No, sir. You can learn to fly a small private plane when you're 16 years old. Fellas and girls, did you know that private plane manufacturers are working 24 hours a day to make safer, speedier, and easier to fly ships? For example, the Beech Aircraft Company now feels they've built the ideal personal plane called the Beechcraft Bonanza. It's a new four-place job with a tricycle landing gear just like the DC-4 transports have. And for speed, it can do 170 miles per hour. Just think of that, 170 miles per hour. If you're in a car going 50 miles an hour, you know, that's plenty fast. The Bonanza travels over 3.5 times faster. If you don't think that's fast for a private ship, well, I'm afraid you're not keeping pace with the news and aviation. In just a few moments, I'll be back to tell you more about this new and different private plane, so don't forget to listen. And now to our story. When Bill King, star reporter for the Continental News Service, arrived in Lakeville, trouble started for Hop and Tank. At the beginning, no one took Bill seriously, despite his insistence that he was on the trail of a mysterious individual who had the power to make men disappear. And the only means of identifying the mystery man, according to Bill King, is his curious habit of almost constantly whistling the doleful notes of a funeral march. At the moment, Hop is paying much more attention to Bill King's seemingly fantastic story because something strange has happened. Tank, who was left in a parked car at the Lakeville Railroad Station, has disappeared. As we join Hop and Bill King now, they have just discovered the empty car.
Maybe he left a note or something on the rear seat. Have you got any matches, Harrigan?
No, I don't smoke. Isn't there a light back there?
I don't know. I just rented this jalopy a couple of hours ago.
I'll look for a switch, either above the rear window or alongside one of the sides over the seat.
I've got it. No, it doesn't work. Bulb must be blown. There's nothing back here anyway.
Well, what do we do? I don't know. It doesn't like Tank to go wandering off. He usually stays put.
Yeah, I would have bet dollars to donuts we'd find him fast asleep sawing wood. Trouble is, there's no one around we can even check up with. Place is dead as a doornail.
12:20 was the last train until morning. There's no sense hanging around. There's nothing to hang around for.
The risk of repeating myself, Skipper, what do we do?
I'm trying to think, Bill, trying to figure it out. He was in the car when we left, wasn't he?
He never got out. We drove up and parked, you and I got out, and he said he'd stay put. Then we went hightailing it after Judge Nolan, thinking he was the guy we're looking for, and we got back, empty car, and no tinker.
At 1:15 in the morning. That doesn't add up.
Maybe he went back to the airport.
Tank walk 8 miles? Don't be silly. None of his life depended on it.
And there's only one answer.
What?
You know what.
You mean the man you're looking for made Tank disappear?
That's it.
Bill, I don't suppose this is any time to be asking questions like this, but is that story on the level?
If it isn't, brother, I've been wasting a lot of my own time and a lot more of Continental's money.
Yeah, but how does it work? How does he make people disappear?
That's the jackpot question. If I knew the answer, I'd have a story that'd hit the front page of every sheet in the country. All I know is, wherever this guy's turned up, someone's disappeared. How or why, I don't know, but...
Wait a minute. Remember Judge Nolan telling us he heard one of the carnival men whistling that funeral march?
Remember it? That's one thing I'm not forgetting.
All right. The judge told us something else. He said the carnival had just finished playing in New City.
Right.
That means someone must have disappeared in New City.
Oh, well, what's that got to do with Tinker?
Nothing, except what are we waiting for? Let's get to the carnival and find the man who whistles.
Well, I figured on doing that first thing in the morning.
We can't wait until morning. We've got to find out what happened to Tank.
Okay, by me. Where is it?
Probably on the fairgrounds. That's about a mile out of town.
All right, let's go. Hope we can get this jalopy running. Slide in.
All right. Well, work your accelerator a couple of times before you turn her over.
Okay.
Now, step on her. Now, choke her a little now, not too much.
For Pete's sake. That did it.
Be careful now, don't stall her.
Okay, where do we go?
Swing around, cross the tracks, and then turn left.
All right, here goes.
Leaving the now dark and deserted railroad station, Hop and Bill King head for the Lakeville Fairgrounds in the hope they can pick up some clue relative to Tank's whereabouts. As they near the grounds, they find it ablaze with lights. Tents are being erected and portable booths set up. A merry-go-round is in place, its shiny, multicolored horses champing at their bits. Pulling up at the gate, Hop and Bill King leave the car and walk inside. The rhythmic thudding of hammers beating nails into wood and the creak of tent ropes passing over wooden pulleys can be heard in the background.
Oh, boy, there sure is a lot of activity here. That's how all circuses and carnivals work. They set up at night. Hey, that fellow over there doesn't seem to be doing anything. Let's ask him whether he's seen Tank around. It's a wild chance, but it's all we've got. Well, might pay off. Can't tell. Excuse me, but have you seen a big, lumbering man around here, sort of reddish hair sticking up in the front? He weighs about 220.
You want to make a deal?
I beg your pardon?
Soft pedal, Jack. Soft pedal. Keep it quiet. Psst. You.
Me?
Yeah. You want to make a deal?
I don't get it. Well, we're looking for...
Sure, I know everybody is, but not me. No, sir. Psst. Listen. How about an elephant?
A what?
Elephant. Wrap it up and take it home. Chance of a lifetime. Only 3 more left. Sold 15 since 8 o'clock.
15 what?
Soft pedal, Jack. They're all listening. Millions of them. Now, how about it?
You mean you want us to buy an elephant?
Cheap as dirt. Chance of a lifetime. How about it?
I don't know where we'd keep an elephant, frankly.
Psst, listen to me. I know a thing or two. Wouldn't steer you wrong. Take one and try it. You'll be coming back for more.
I'm afraid we haven't time to...
Hold it. Here he comes.
Huh? Charlie, I thought I told you to turn in.
Sure thing, Pop. On my way.
Well, go ahead.
Sure thing. Psst, Jack. See you later.
Go on, Charlie.
On my way. On my way.
Sorry if he bothered you. Oh, not at all. He was trying to sell us, I know. Elephants. Yeah, he said he sold 15 since 8 o'clock. That's not bad. Usually it's only 5 or 10 a day. You mean he really sells elephants? Of course not. Poor fellow's not all there. Used to be one of the best elephant handlers in the business, but he had a little accident, and he's never been right since. We keep him on for old time's sake. You town people? I am, but my friend here isn't. We're looking for someone we think came out here tonight. A big, tall fellow with reddish hair. He was wearing mechanic's coveralls. You didn't happen to see him, did you? No, can't say as I did, but you can look around. Thanks. Just watch out you don't trip over any light wires. We lay them on the ground, don't string them up until we're set. We'll be careful. Okay. Drop in on us when we're going full blast. Lots of fun. Thanks, we will. Oh, how do you like that? First crack out of the box for me, the guy wants to sell us elephants. A couple more minutes, I would have bought one. Bill, look. Where? Open near that tent. It's Tank. Great. Caesar. Tank! Hey, Tank! He can't hear you. Come on. Your hunch was right, Harrigan. Wonder what brought him out here. We'll find out in a minute, and he's going to get a piece of my mind, too. Look at him, will you? Standing there like a kid, watching him put the tent up? Yeah, well, we were worrying ourselves sick about it. You'll hear from me, just you listen. Tank, what's the big idea? Huh? I said, what's the big idea? Haven't you any better sense than to run off without telling us where you're going? We've been beating our brains out looking for you.
I don't know what you're talking about, fellas.
What do you mean you don't know what we're talking about? We left you in the car, and when we got back, you were gone.
What car?
Come on, Tinker. Who do you think you're kidding? Snap out of it, Tank. You did the wrong thing, so admit it.
Hey, you guys are making a mistake. My name ain't Tank. It ain't Tinker. My name's Joe Brown. I never saw either of you before.
For a long moment, Hop simply stares at Tank, unable to believe his ears. What is this? Has something happened to the big lumbering mechanic? We'll learn more in just a moment, so stand by. At the beginning of today's program, fellows and girls, I told you about the new private plane Beech Aircraft has on the market. I said I'd tell you more about the Beechcraft Bonanza because I've really got some pretty important information for you. One of the many fine features of the ship is its retractable landing gear, the same type gear you find in pursuit ships. In addition, the steps onto the wing retract immediately after takeoff. Just imagine, the metal steps disappear into the fuselage until you've landed and are ready to climb out. But the most important and distinguishing feature is its new and entirely different tail assembly. Now, gang, listen carefully while I explain what this new tail looks like, because I'm sure you haven't seen one like it before. You all know what a regular tail assembly looks like. Sure, it has a rudder and a stabilizer. The rudder steers the plane, and the stabilizer makes it bank. Well, the Bonanza has no rudder. Now, I bet you're wondering how a plane can fly without a rudder, or if it can fly without one, how can it turn? Now, here's where you're in for a surprise. The two stabilizers are bent upward from the fuselage in the shape of a V. It's just as if you were going to fold a piece of paper in two, and then you decided not to. That's what it looks like. Pilots call it a butterfly tail. This type cuts down 1/3 of the normal tail space, which makes for a faster, more maneuverable ship. Now, fellas and girls, I'm going to let you in on a secret, and I'm sure you're just about the first people to hear this news. This new butterfly tail I've been describing is the same type the Army is going to use on its radio-propelled rocket bombs. The exact same type V-tail that's on the Bonanza is going to be used on these radio-propelled rockets. Well, gang, as I said at the opening of Hop Harrigan, you don't have to fly bombers and pursuit ships to enjoy the latest developments and improvements the aviation industry has for you. But no matter what plane you fly, always remember America needs flyers. And now back to our story. Discovering Tank, who has been missing, at the Lakeville Fairgrounds, watching a traveling carnival set up its tents and booths for the following day's performance, Hop and Bill King hurried over to him, only to be strangely greeted. Tank has just said,
"You guys are making a mistake. My name ain't Tank, and it ain't Tinker. My name's Joe Brown. I never saw either of you before."
Stunned, Hop stares at the big, lumbering mechanic.
"Tank, are you crazy?" "Look, I told you my name ain't Tank, fella." "I get it, Harrigan. I pulled a gag on him, so he's pulling one on us." "Well, it isn't funny. Come on back to the car, Tank. It's almost 2 o'clock. "What are you trying to pull, mister?" "Cut it out. Enough's enough. Come on."
Get your hand off my arm.
"Tank, please, don't be difficult. Aunt Agatha's all alone back at the field. Come on now."
How many times do I have to tell you you got the wrong guy?
"Oh, brother, when he milks a gag, he really milks it dry." "Tank, I'm beginning to lose patience. Do you want to walk to the car, or would you rather be dragged?"
"Scram, will you?"
Take his other arm.
Hey, let go of me. Let go, I said.
Tank, don't be a fool.
You're going to get hurt, bud.
Get him to the car, Bill.
All right, you west. We're out for gas, right? It's for size.
Throwing a punch with all the force of his massive body behind it, Tank sends his right fist crashing into Hop's jaw. The young pilot, taken by complete surprise, has no time to bring up a guard. The powerful blow lands, his head snaps back, and he falls to the ground with a dull, sickening thud. Why has Tank suddenly turned on his pal of a lifetime? Has something happened to him? Gang, you're in for a startling surprise. So be sure to listen to Monday's episode in the strangest of all of Hop's adventures, the mystery of the vanishing men. Don't miss it. Tune in, same time, same station, and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways. So long, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same mutual station. Hop Harrigan is a transcribed, copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine. Presenting Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways.
CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX-4. Wind southeast, ceiling 1200. All clear.
Okay, this is Hop Harrigan coming in.
Yes, it's America's ace of the airways, coming in for another transcribed episode of the adventures of Hop Harrigan. You know, fellas and girls, a lot of people think of airplanes only in connection with combat, passenger service, carrying freight, or just flying for fun. Well, before we join Hop and Tank today, I'd like to tell you about a man who's been flying ever since he was a teenager. This pilot has figured out a new use for aviation, and his name is Ken Tyler. Tyler flew in the Air Corps during both World Wars. Now he's got himself involved in another war, the war against insects. If Dad ever told you to go out and spray the vegetable or flower garden in your backyard, he'd be giving you a man-sized job. Well, you take your backyard and multiply it a couple of thousand times, and you can understand the terrific amount of work involved when a farmer has to spray his fields.
And when the government wants to spray thousands of acres of forest lands, well, they really have a job on their hands because they just don't make sprays big enough. But Ken Tyler has licked the problem. He's taken his 4-place amphibian plane, it's a Republic CB, and rigged up spraying equipment on it, which is so arranged that he can convert his CB back to normal in 45 minutes, when it again becomes a regular 4-passenger plane. And being an amphibian, he can take off and land from either land or water. In just a few minutes, I'll tell you more about Ken Tyler and his peacetime pest fighter, so don't forget to listen. And now to our story. Lakeville has become the scene of a strange and puzzling mystery, the mystery of the vanishing men. When Bill King, star reporter for the Continental News Service, arrived in Lakeville, he told Hop, Tank, and Gail Nolan what seemed to be a fantastic story.
I'm on the trail of a man who makes people disappear. I don't know his name, I don't know what he looks like, but he's got a funny habit. He whistles most of the time. And you know what he whistles? The funeral march. The one that goes like this.
At the moment, the trail of the whistling mystery man seems to have led to a traveling carnival setting up its tents on the Lakeville fairgrounds. Searching for Tank, who had strangely disappeared, Hop and Bill King drove up to the fairgrounds at 2 a.m. Under powerful floodlights, the carnival crew was setting up for the following day. Strolling through the grounds, Hop suddenly spotted Tank watching a tent being raised.
There he is, Bill. Come on. Boy, am I going to give him a piece of my mind, worrying us half.
But a strange thing happened when Hop and Bill King approached Tank. To begin with, he denied knowing them. Then, to cap the climax, he denied that his name was Tank Tinker. Annoyed at what he thought was Tank's peculiar idea of a joke, Hop took his arm and prepared to lead him to the car. Roaring with anger, Tank swung, caught Hop on the point of the chin, and knocked him cold. As we continue now, Bill King has carried Hop to the car. Sprawled out on the rear seat, the young pilot begins to come to.
All right, here. Take a swig of the soda pop, Harrigan. I couldn't get any water. Come on. All right. Okay, you'll be all right. Now, take it easy. Come on. Want to sit up? I know just how you feel. A guy hit me like that once. He was a big guy, too, big as Tinker.
Oh, my head.
All right, come on, sit up. You'll feel better. Here, let me help you. There you are. There you are. What happened? You went down for the count. Tinker bounced one off your button.
Tank, he hit me. What is he?
You got me. You went down like a ton of bricks, and the only thing I could figure out was to get you back to the car. One of the carnival boys helped me carry you.
Oh, I remember now. Tank said he didn't know us.
That's right.
But didn't he use another name?
Yeah, he said his name was Jim Brown or something like that.
I thought he was kidding.
So did I, until he parked that haymaker on your kisser. That was no gag.
Oh, we've got to go back and find him. Something's wrong.
Now, wait a minute. Think this thing out,
There's nothing to think about. Tank wouldn't lift a finger to me unless something was wrong with him. Either he's out of his mind or...
Or what?
I don't know. Maybe this man you're looking for, the one who supposedly makes people disappear.
What about him?
Maybe Tank got mixed up with him somehow.
I don't get it. Tinker didn't disappear. When he threw that punch, he was right there in the flesh, 200 pounds of it.
I know, but maybe your man's done something to Tank, hypnotized him or something.
Oh, it sounds to me like you're reaching way out for an answer, Harrigan.
Then what is the answer? Why did Tank deny knowing us? Why did he say his name was Brown? And believe me, if Tank was in his right mind, he'd cut off his arm before he'd touch a hair of my head.
Well, he didn't get anywhere near your hair, but he sure raised a lump on your jaw.
Come on, we've got to find him. We can't let him wander around here the way he
Now,
is.
look, you'd better rest a while. You were out cold for 5 minutes.
I'm all right, except for my head. Let me out. Ooh, brother.
Oh, dizzy, huh?
Yeah, a little.
Look, Harrigan, suppose I take you back to the airport and then...
Someone's coming.
If it's Tinker, get ready to duck. Oh, it's that crackpot again, the guy selling elephants.
Jack.
We got all the elephants we can use, pal. The fact is, we're trying to get rid of a couple of giraffes and a hippopotamus.
Can't use the giraffes. But how much for the hippo?
I had to start something.
You were supposed to turn in, Charlie. The boss told you to turn in.
Jack, you want to know something?
What?
I'm the boss. How much for that hippo?
You wouldn't want him. He's only got 3 legs.
That's one more than I've got.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Trade you 3 elephants for the hippo. always did want a hippo.
I told you we've got all the elephants we can use.
How many?
47.
Jack, want to know something?
What?
That's a lot of elephants.
Let's get rid of this guy before I stop blowing bubbles.
You better turn in, Charlie. It's late.
What about that hippo, Jack?
Oh, we'll see that you get it.
Okay. You want the elephants now?
No. You keep them until we're ready for them.
I can wrap them right up and you can take them.
No, it's too late.
Tell you what, Jack. I'll send them parcel post.
Yeah, that's a swell idea. Send them parcel post.
Now, you'd better turn in, Charlie.
Okay, Jack. Soft pedal on all this.
Oh, absolutely. Charlie, wait. One more thing.
Spill it, Jack.
We're looking for a man who works in this carnival. You've been around here a long time, haven't you?
Sure thing.
Do you know one of the carnival men who whistles all the time?
Whistles?
Yes, you know, like this.
You're wasting your time, Harrigan.
Maybe not. Do you know him, Charlie?
Sure thing.
You mean you know who I'm talking about? A man who whistles all the time?
Sure thing.
What's his name, Charlie?
Soft pedal, Jack. Soft pedal.
Oh, sorry. What's the man's name, Charlie?
Peanut.
Peanut?
Yep. Peanut whistle.
What I tell you? Peanut whistle. That's fine.
Okay, Charlie. Thanks a lot. We'll be seeing you.
Don't forget that hippo.
No, we won't. Are you going to turn in now?
Sure thing, Jack. Closing up shop. Been a long day. Meet you on the midway. Good night.
Good night, Charlie.
Do you know a guy with a whistle? Yeah, sure thing. What's his name? Peanut. Oh, brother, you sure led with your chin that time, Harrigan.
Well, no harm done.
Except maybe to poor Charlie. Tomorrow I'll be going around selling peanut whistles instead of elephants. Tell me, you feel any better?
My head's still ringing, and my jaw's beginning to hurt, but outside of that, I'm okay. I suggest we...
What's the matter?
He's coming back.
Who?
Charlie.
Oh, no, I can't take any more of that. Just let's scram. Someone's going to get suspicious about our hanging around like this and call the cops.
Oh, we haven't done anything.
Look, people don't wait until you do something. I remember once in Detroit...
Bill. You know who's coming?
Who?
Tank.
Looming out of the darkness beyond the circle of light thrown by the flood lamps inside the fairgrounds, Tank, looking strangely serious, approaches Hop and Bill King and stops short in front of them. What will happen now? We'll be back in a moment to find out, so stand by.
At the beginning of Hop Harrigan today, I was telling you about war veteran Ken Tyler and his fight against the insects which attack our American farms and forests. As I've already mentioned, Mr. Tyler doesn't fight these pests on the ground. No, sir, he wages war against them from the air. Now, here's some more dope about Ken Tyler and his Republic CB. Although the spraying equipment looks rather complicated, it only takes a few minutes to assemble and uses the same type chemical farmers and conservation officers all over the country use, the only difference being in the way it's sprayed. Tyler says he can spray a path 170 to 300 feet wide, and he can cover as much as 3,000 acres a day. When he works on truck farms, he has to fly very low to the ground, so he only covers 800 acres. But when you realize that men with sprays working off trucks can only cover a small fraction of that area, you can see what spraying from a plane really means. Victory over the insects. Mr. Tyler's headquarters are near Farmingdale in New York, but with a plane service such as he has, he can work anywhere in the eastern and central parts of the United States. And that goes from the Canadian border right down to the Gulf of Mexico. That amphibian CB of his can land just about anywhere, on a level field, an airstrip, or a lake. It cruises at over 100 miles per hour, and the special equipment Tyler uses for spraying doesn't interfere with either his controls or his speed. When Ken Tyler wants to take a day off, in 45 minutes his plane's ready for normal cruising. This is another example of the opportunities aviation offers you young people. As a matter of fact, every day somebody finds another new and different job that a pilot and his plane can do to better himself and his country. Learn to fly soon, gang, and always remember America needs flyers. And now back to our story. Standing beside Bill King's car, parked outside the fairgrounds, Hop and the Continental News Service reporter suddenly found themselves face to face with Tank.
The same Tank who, a few minutes before, had not only denied knowing them, but had planted a vicious blow on the point of Hop's chin, knocking him cold. Now the situation is tense, as each waits for the other to speak, while Bill King backs away cautiously. Tank finally breaks the silence.
You better go on back home, Hop.
Is that all you've got to say?
No, I got a lot to say, but I can't say it now.
Well, you better say something about that punch you threw, Tinker.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Hop. I didn't mean it on purpose.
How did you mean it?
I had to do it.
And did you have to deny knowing us? Did you have to tell us your name was Brown?
Yeah.
What's the matter with you, Tank? Don't you feel well?
I feel fine.
Well, then stop all this nonsense and get in the car. Bill's driving us back to the house.
Oh, no, I gotta stay here.
Why?
You keep out of this, King.
Okay. Far be it from me to ask for a fistful of knuckles.
What's this all about, Tank? I can't tell you, Hop. It's one of those things.
One of what things?
Well, you see...
All I see is that you're making a fool of yourself. Now stop this nonsense and get in the car.
I can't, Hop. Honest, I can't.
You mean to stand there and tell me you're going to stay here all night?
Yeah, I guess so.
But what do you mean you guess so? Tank, have you lost your mind? Do you know what you're saying?
Look, Hop, I gotta go now. I'm sorry.
Where do you have to go?
Back there to the carnival.
I don't understand this. Am I crazy? Bill, do you hear the same things I hear?
I sure do. Keep him out of it. I don't want him in it.
Keep him out of what, Tank? You're not talking sense.
Maybe not, but anyway, keep him out of it. That means you, King.
Sure thing, Tinker. I'll be so far out of it, you'll have to reach me by cablegram.
I gotta go now, Hop. I'll see you tomorrow.
Wait a minute. Where will you see me tomorrow?
I want you to come to the carnival in the afternoon.
What for?
I want to show you something. See that tent they're putting up over there?
What about it?
That's where I want you to come. Good night, Hop.
Dumbfounded, Hop is speechless as Tank turns on his heel and starts back toward the brilliantly lit center of the fairgrounds. Nothing like this has ever happened to the big, lumbering, good-natured mechanic before. But actually, what has happened? Why is Tank acting so peculiarly? Well, gang, you're in for a big surprise in tomorrow's excitingly mysterious episode, so don't miss it. Tune in, same time, same station, and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways. So long, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same mutual station. Hop Harrigan is a transcribed, copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine.